What we're going to test today is a 77 to 82 Corvette heater and AC blower switch. Now the way we're going to test it is through continuity. If you have a multimeter, you want to set your tester in the pulse tone setting. You can put it in the ohm setting, but I like the pulse tone because when you touch the two together you get tone. If we put it in the 200 ohm setting right here, and if you look at the setting, it's at 1. Well, 1 means open circuit, and if the two are touching to close the circuit, it's 0.4. So basically, with that knowledge, take your switch, put it back in the tone setting. Now on the switch, we're going to look at the switch here for a second. You've got 4 terminals on the switch. The screws, when the switch is mounted, go to the outside of the car, so it actually sits in the car like this. So this would be low. That's number 1 speed, number 2, and that's high. So if you flip it over and you look at the side of the switch, right there, that's your input. That's your 12 volts going into your switch. That's your high speed terminal. This is your number 2 speed, and your number 1 speed is in the middle. With that in mind, if you look at where I've marked this switch, low, 1, 2, and high, you should be able to tell which terminal the voltage should pass through. So we're going to take our multimeter and hook it on input, which is our input, 12 volts input. We're going to go to low. Now low speed is actually, it says low, it's actually off. The first speed on there is actually off. The blower motor will continue to turn. It never really completely shuts off. But so there's not going to be any continuity between any terminal in the low position. When we go to the number 1 position, we should have continuity between the input terminal, which is over here, and the middle terminal right here. And if you hear that tone, that means you've got continuity. Now we shouldn't have any continuity on any other of the other 2 terminals. So now we're going to go up to the number 2 position. And with the number 2, with the switch in the number 2 position, we're back to on the input, and we're back to this one, which is marked number 2, and it's the outside one. Now if we go to the inside one or the outside one here, there's no continuity. Now we go to the high speed. Now the high speed connection is the one right next to the input, and it's located right there, and you should hear tone. So basically this switch is working fine. Now you can test the switch with ohms in the 200 ohm setting, and you're going to get probably about 0.4 ohms when you test it, and if we're still in the high, so if you look at that, 0.4 ohms. Now if we change the switch position, you're going to drop ohms off here. So let's see if I can hold this and show you. Let's just change switch position, and now we're back into open circuit. If we go back to high, we should get back to continuity. So pretty much that's how you test the switch. All you're doing is changing what the output is on the switch. You're going from the input side here to either the high, the number 1, or the number 2 terminal. Based on that, that's what sends the electricity out to the resistor, which is mounted on your firewall. The resistor actually has different resistance coils in it, depending on which terminal the wire is coming in on, or the power is coming into the resistor on, determines how it comes out to the blower motor. You got to remember, your high speed is not controlled by that resistor. It's controlled by the high blow relay mounted on your air conditioning evaporator core housing. So that's about it, and thanks for watching.